Yo, hello, what is going on, you guys? Bison back here with a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about Surging Sparks and seeing whether if it's still a good investment or not, or if you should just hold off on it, or if you should just make some purchases right now on it, Surging Sparks. So today we're gonna see whether or not it's a good idea to get into some Surging Sparks booster boxes if you haven't already. So coming over here to Surging Sparks, let me just get a good chart. So before, if you were lucky enough to, pre-order or pre-sell prices for the Surging Sparks, if you're able to get those cases, they were like in the low 600s early on, and then afterwards they started climbing to like 650, 700, something like that when I started buying them. So if you were the few or pretty decent majority that were able to get in on those booster boxes, consider yourself lucky. Took a W on that, quick W actually. Once you got the product in hand, you pretty much already were up on those cases. And right now the market price for Surging Sparks is at around 176. So when they came in, they were like 170, then they went down to like 150 something, then they went up to 160, then 165, went to 160, and went up to 170, and right now they're at 176. So looking here, I mean, if you go on eBay, for someone like me that buys off of eBay a lot, I mean, you're gonna see that most of them are in like the 170s. So if you do plan on buying on eBay, I pulled up this listing because this is one guy that I've bought from a lot. Really great seller. I've purchased a whole like bunch of booster boxes from them over the years. So if you are planning on getting some, you could buy from them, or you could always buy on TCG Player, really any other seller, because obviously you don't have. I really doubt that people are going to be desperate enough to try and scam buyers with like a brand new set that just released. Oh, who knows? Who knows, honestly, in this hobby, because there's some people that are scummy like that. So coming over here, this is one website that I use for like for newer sets. If we look at Surging Sparks, I mean, we could just see that the Pikachu is just going absolutely insane. Latias, I mean, that was like a no-brainer. Even the gold Pikachu was the one thing that kind of really like threw me off a little. Like I've heard that it's a lot more harder to pull. Yeah, obviously it's like yeah, it's going up a lot, but it's just a lot of the time most gold cards aren't like super high performers. The Hydreigon, the Hydreigon, obviously no brainer. Also, my Milotic, pretty much all the cards that people expected to be expensive are expensive. The Latios I kind of expected might be like a little bit higher. Same thing with Licia, but obviously just give them some time. But overall, for how the cards are performing, very, very well. I mean, yes, I get it. The set just came out. We're in a bull market, so it's kind of like helping it out too. So in terms of whether should you buy a booster box or not, or really any product, but obviously I always recommend booster boxes. If you're someone that hasn't gotten any for some reason, or has like a very small position, and keyword, you're in it for the long haul, or who knows, maybe you can make a quick flip, because from what we're seeing and what other people have been saying online too, there's a chance that this box could run up to 200 plus if no reprint or more stock comes in for it. So keep in mind, if obviously there's a chance you could probably like negotiate some offers and maybe like find some booster boxes like cases or whatever at like an average of 165 per box, or somewhere around a little lower if you really look around and negotiate. But the demand on this set is just insane. It is like absolute, like it's just crazy. Like Surging Sparks was like really the catalyst for, like, you can't wait till like the day of release to buy these cases at 600 or under 600. Like literally, when I think, I'm trying to think of the day. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I bought them early October, mid October, if I'm not mistaken. No, it had to be like early mid October when I bought my cases. And what sucks is there's a listing that was like at 625, and I waited on it because I was like, okay, I want to see what happens. Maybe some other ones might come up, But at the same time, I was like, I don't think it's gonna come up. I don't think there's. So I was like, okay, let me wait and see, because I don't think it's gonna shoot up automatically to 700 plus, and obviously I was right and wrong. So there were no other cheaper cases that came up, but at the same time, it didn't immediately skyrocket. It just went up to like 640 for a case, 650. So then at that point, I was like, yeah, I just bought the case. I just bought some cases, and the average that I spent on them were like around 123 or something. And the reason I would be comfortable with buying more of this, which I more than likely will buy more cases, especially at this price. I mean, I could just look around, find some, is because with Brilliant Stars, when I was buying them at like 120s, 140s, I still was buying more Brilliant Stars, booster boxes once they started running up to like 170 or whatever. And I still have them. Obviously, like, I can't sell them right now because I wouldn't really be making anything on the ones I bought for that price. But I honestly foresee in the long term that Brilliant Stars is going to perform well. Same thing with Surging Sparks. I mean, Surging Sparks has two things going for it. If you buy them at this price, there is a very good likelihood that it will go past 200 or near 200. And if you hold it long term, same thing. I could really see this set as long as it doesn't get like a completely obliterated with 3 prints. But I mean, you could always look back at Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike. Those things were obliterated with 3 prints, but now they're like in the low mid 200s. And who knows? Maybe by the end of this year, next year, they might be close to 300. So same thing with Surging Sparks. If you're able to like snag some up for like 165 or whatever, definitely I would recommend getting in on the set, because with the market right now, this set is showing no signs of stopping, especially like how like what the Pikachus are doing. And it's funny, it's like some people try to say that like this is like Vivid Voltage. This is absolutely not Vivid Voltage. Obviously it's not Evolving Skies, but it's definitely not Vivid Voltage. It's like, honestly, if I had to compare to like Sword and Shield, it's probably like, I would say Surging Sparks is probably like up there in the top 5 sets for Scarlet and Violet so far. But obviously you have the Trainer set, Team Rocket set, and who knows what other sets, because it is true the later half of every era, usually they come out with great sets. And Surging Sparks is kind of, showing that to happen. So with everything going on and just how the cards are performing, how the market is, yeah, I would say Surging Sparks is still a buy. Even at I mean, you don't have to buy at whatever the market price is. You could definitely, if you look around, you could definitely, who knows, there might be people locally that might be selling them for 160. They might have gotten them at like 110, 115, but you know what, I want to take quick gains. Boom, you buy them at 160. If you hold them at 200 or a little over 200, you want to make quick flips, same thing. You could be someone that might have bought in them cheap, right? You bought a whole bunch of them cheap, and then you might have sold some off, and then you're like, oh man, I want to get back into it. I still recommend it. I literally bought mine, like I said, at an average of 120, 121 per booster box. So even at this price, I'd still buy some. But keep in mind, you have to remember, for me, I'm holding long term. I'm holding for like the years to come, unless something happens where I just have to sell them off. But yeah, I'm holding for the long run. And honestly, like a couple years from now, I could really see Surging Sparks being up there, in value, especially the booster boxes. So always go for booster boxes. Don't miss out. Surging Sparks is still a buy. So that's just my opinion. You guys can comment down what you think, if you're still buying Surging Sparks, or if you're gonna wait for maybe like a price dip to happen or whatever. But just remember, more times than not, if you're just sitting and waiting on the sidelines just over and over again because something is too high or this and that, right? More times than not, you're just going to be missing out on opportunities. So you've seen it happen over the years. There's literally proof and data over the years of, if you literally just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, you'll be missing out. Obviously, there's times where you can tell where a set, okay, there's a chance that this set might dip down, and you could wait, I'm not saying that, oh, they're not going to reprint it and it's like it's going to stay at this price forever. Like, no, obviously later on there's probably going to be a reprint, it's going to come. How large will the reprint be? Or we don't know that. When will it come? We don't know that. But I mean, it is safe to say that more likely than not, they may reprint this, but who knows? It might be something small, like what happened with Paldea. I'm pretty sure it was a restock. I still can't remember. So who knows? What if that does happen? What if like you know the quote unquote reprint just ends up being a restock, right? And then that's it. Because we're already going into 2025, and I think 2026, if I'm not mistaken, is like the last year for Scarlet and Violet, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure 2026 marks the 30th anniversary, right? Someone can let me know on that. Which you already know, every like anniversary they'll do something, they'll like do a set or whatever. So that's like way later to come, but I'm just gonna say, who knows? Seeing what happened with Celebrations, that was just a no-brainer. Um, so just saying there could be something there, but yeah, that's just one thing you just really need to look out on. If it's really up to you. If you're someone that has like a pretty good amount of disposable income, and you want to have like a bigger position or some more or some position in Surging Sparks, if you don't have any, you buy them. Get some. It's not a terrible price. You're always free to wait. At the end of the day, it's your own money. You're free to do as you wish with it. But for me, I'm still gonna be buying them. Just like the amount of like packs that are being burned through on pack openings and all that. you know, and especially what we saw happen with Paldea Evolved, that like they did a restock or reprint. I'm going to say restock, and it just dipped the price a little and then just went back up. So it's like you kind of think about, what if they do that with Surging Sparks? They do a restock, dips the price down, and then immediately skyrockets back up. And then who knows? Maybe later on they do like a restock, maybe drops the price down a little bit, and then it just starts going back up. You really never know. Because more times than not, they'll like Pokemon will usually do reprint or whatever. But so far, Scarlet and Violet, I mean, there hasn't really been anything, which is kind of weird. And it's like people are saying that they're probably doing it on purpose so they could get like the market price, like the sale price closer to that MSRP. Which who knows? Who knows? No one knows. So that's all I'm gonna say. Surging Sparks, in my opinion, still a buy. It's not a terrible price. Like I said, you're always free to wait. You're always free to take that risk. Maybe you could be right and get them for cheaper, or maybe you might be wrong and it runs off with you. That's why in this hobby, like, how do I put it? It's like it looks easy, but when you really look into it, it's more complicated than not. Especially if you're someone that has limited time and how long you can hold the product for. Because keep in mind, like I said, I'm not really someone that does short-term flips. Like, I will literally hold long-term. I will literally hold my booster boxes, ETBs, whatever. I'll hold them for anywhere to 4 to 6 years after the set release. Because usually what I've noticed, I've literally went through almost every set. What I've noticed after 4 to 6 years, a lot of those, especially sets with booster boxes, they will literally be up there in price. And yes, I get it. Back then, print was different, or whatever. So you can't really do like a one-to-one comparison. But like, it's just been the same trend. Like from 4 to 6 years, if you invested keyword into like an average or better set in 4 to 6 years, if you bought them at a good price, like anywhere from like somehow from high 80s to like 150 or maybe a little higher, in 4 to 6 years, you'd literally be making a huge return, especially if you bought cases or whatever and you held them and all those booster boxes are in solid condition. So that's just what I've seen. I've looked at every set for like the past 10 years, and that's just what I've seen. So that's why I'm very confident with Surging Sparks, especially like I said, I'm not here to really flip. I'm here to invest for that time frame. And more times than not, I've been right. I've been doing well like that. So it's really up to you if you want to try and do a flip, if you want to try to do a play for the short term, or you might be someone like, you know what, I don't want to risk it. At this price, it's not horrible. Like, let's say it's a restock or whatever happens and it drops the price down to 130. I'll be saving myself maybe 30, 35 bucks a box. But what if that doesn't happen? Then I have to spend an extra $30, $35 a box. Like, it's kind of like, it's really up to you as a person in the hobby, as someone that's making these plays, how to approach this. So in my opinion, Surging Sparks, it's still not a bad pickup. So, and like I said before, who knows? There's a chance that soon enough it'll be close to 200, or maybe it'll run up past 200 before anything happens, before it gets a restock or whatever. Who knows? So it's really up to you, but for me, it's still a pickup, you know? So anyways, that's all I have to say today, guys. And if you enjoyed watching this video, as always, drop a like, drop a comment, your opinion, if you're still buying them. If not, if you're waiting, drop your comments down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and Bison out.